Felixstowe matters on this slightly overcast day. It'll probably be getting slightly hotter in here today, but we'll explain that later. Okay, so our guest today is Gary Garbutt from Felixstowes White Collar Boxing Club. Hi Gary.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So Gary, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you were linked to Felixstowe.
Well, we've moved down here probably 2 years ago now. Married to Laura with 3 kids. Laura, we met in Ipswich one night, and then I managed to get back to Felixstowe the following day, and haven't left here since, really.
Oh, brilliant. So what were your interests when you were younger? It's probably a silly question, but I'll ask anyway.
Football, never boxing until I went to a youth club. Then I went into a youth club and they had a little bit of a taster session there, and we had a guy on his knees. We had gloves that were 2 sizes too big, and I was trying to throw shots at him and missed him by miles, and went from there. Really stayed there at the youth club for probably about 1.5 years.
So what age was that then?
That was when I was probably about 8 or 9, I think.
Okay, so it was quite an early age.
Quite an early age when I did that, yeah.
So after the 1.5 years at the youth club, did you just carry it on, or?
No, the estate where I lived on is tower blocks and stuff in London, and the youth club closed down because nobody used it. So boxing then stopped for me, and I never got involved again. Okay. Probably till I went in the army when I was 17, and I joined the army boxing club.
Oh, okay.
And that got me out of a few things whilst I was in the army, so it was a good idea to join it.
So what were you doing in the army?
I was in the Royal Military Police when I was there.
Ah, okay.
I stayed there for 3.5, 4 years. Probably spent 2 years on and off in the boxing team, and got out of quite a few duties by doing that.
So you did 3.5 years. So what does that entail to get good at boxing?
To get good at boxing, well, I wouldn't say I'm a master. I can defend myself and I can attack people, but boxing takes years and years really to get to a brilliant level, I think, unless you're naturally gifted. Some people are naturally gifted with both hands and with their feet and their movement. I took boxing back up again probably 7, maybe 8 years ago. I joined a white collar club in Ipswich, and had to start from scratch again. Learn to skip, learn to move my hands, learn to move my head. When you're in there sparring with 19 and 20-year-olds, you get to feel your age.
Yeah, I bet you do. So from a perspective of boxing, so you mentioned skillful. So you're talking about your hands, your movement. And
you got eye and hand coordination, and your movement and your body and footwork. That's probably the main attributes you've got to have. It's not normal. You don't necessarily have to be a big heavy lump to hurt someone. Speed and power hurt as much as just power. So if you can move around the person, tire them out, you've got as much advantage of them being a big lump against you.
Yeah. So you've obviously had competitive matches or fights.
A few.
Matches. Yeah. So
not done too good in a couple of them.
So what does it take to actually get into the ring and actually face someone? Because I presume the psychology, all that kind of stuff that must be going through your head at the time. How do you deal with that? And what's it? Can you give us an idea of what it feels like?
When we spar with each other, you know the person opposite you is probably the same level as you, and you kind of know a little bit about what they do. When you initially go for a fight and you get there, you get the feeling of walking in, the place being empty and seeing the ring, and then you get weighed and then it hits you and you think, well, there's no turning back now. I suppose it's like getting in an aeroplane and jumping out of it and doing a skydive. You can't not do it. You have to go. If you're attached to someone, you've got to jump out. It's like that. I've got probably 10, 15, 20 people come to watch me.
Yeah.
The other guys obviously trained as hard as I have, and you've just got to think and believe in yourself. Boxing is a lot about a mental battle with yourself. Never giving up when you're doing an exercise. Push that extra exercise out. Yeah. Always go that extra mile. If you think that person can do a mile in 8 minutes, you do it in 7 minutes. Try and push yourself every time. And getting in the rings like that, I suppose. I'm not a master at boxing, by no means.
Yeah.
And I can remember probably 2 years ago when Laura and I were first together. Laura came to my first fight down in Colchester.
Yeah.
And I weighed probably about 13 stone 5, 13.9. And I wasn't small. I'm not exactly small now either. And I remember getting there, and the guy I was fighting wasn't around, so I couldn't see him weigh in.
Yeah.
And I remember coming down the steps, listening to my music, feeling quite relaxed, quite chilled. Then I got in the ring, and then I heard his music, and then I heard all this stamping and clapping and shouting. And my guy that was my cornerman wouldn't let me look round at him. And I'm thinking, why would he let me look round at him? I can't think why. And then he said, come here, put your head guard on. And I kept wanting to look round, he kept pulling me this way. So then he put my head guard on, and I remember once the guy had obviously got in the ring, it went quiet, and I remember hearing this gulp, and it was my wife upstairs. The guy, one of his arms was the size of one of my legs.
Oh, no.
He had a tattoo from his chest all the way across his arm, and at that point there's no turning back.
No, definitely.
So I walked into the middle, I walked up to him and I looked at him and I just said to him, there's only one going out of here on a stretcher, that is it. And I lasted 3 rounds with him,
Yeah.
I did have a word with my trainer in the corner and say to him, you're having a laugh, but he said you've got to go out again. So yeah, I got through 3 rounds, and that was a battle with me saying, well, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to stay in there and grudge it out. And from then on, me and that guy, we've seen each other at other boxing events. He buys me a beer, I buy him a beer, we have a chat. It's the strangest feeling ever. You're in there trying to beat that person, but at the end of the day, once it's over, you shake hands.
There's no grudge.
No grudge, nothing at all.
Because obviously the Cassius Clays of this world, and there's an ego. It's a huge ego.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. Is that the mentality you have to go in, or is there a different way?
No, you have to believe in yourself and that you'll beat that person. But if on that given day you don't perform to your best, you've cut corners. You'll always see if someone's cut corners. I've cut corners, and I've been made to pay for cutting corners.
Yeah.
And now with the club, the aim is to promote the club, get some people in the area that want to fight, and get them to that level where they are going to these shows and they're believing in themselves that they can win and they can be winners.
So other than obviously becoming vastly fit, so just before we talk
I wouldn't say vastly fit.
I mean, how fit do you need to be?
Well,
do you think to go competitive or get into a ring with someone else?
You have to be able to last 3 2-minute rounds. So you need to be not Superman by no stretch of the imagination, but with a good program, eating the right foods, doing the runs, coming to the training, doing the sparring, probably round about. I took me 8 weeks to get to the level where I could go in there and fight. 8 weeks.
Okay, so it's an all-round sort of body, because I've got the sort of upper body strength of a leaf. So I presume you need that kind of physique.
Well, people have, normally think you've got to go to the gym and you've got to bulk up and lift weights and stuff like that. But a lot of people, it's about toning, and we'll do a bit of it later on. I'll show you some punches on the pads, and you'll feel the workout of your arms without even using weights.
Yeah.
And some boxers are naturally big, bulky, and do weights, but a lot of it is about speed and your hand speed, and getting the power from how you move the power through your body into your hands.
Brilliant. So just before we get onto the club, who's your boxing hero?
Modern day, he's got to be Ricky Hatton. I know he's coming back to fight.
He is, isn't he? Yeah,
and I think that's a good thing, because having seen him in his fights in his heyday, he was awesome. But then when he got to his later part of the career, he had outside influences. Money became a big part of it, I felt, and he did go downhill and got beaten quite badly. So I think he's got a reason to come back now, and he said that in his press interviews. So Ricky Hatton nowadays, and Barry McGuigan. I always remember when I was at home watching Barry McGuigan's fights on the TVs.
I can remember that. Yes,
there in his old Vela shorts. He looked really. I always used to think, man, that bloke's, he can hit hard. He can hit hard and he's fast.
Because he looked quite sort of
muscular,
but you could say powerful, yeah.
And then I've got obviously Bone Crusher Smith and Frank Bruno and Tyson, all those type of people. Tyson, when he was young, and you watched his speed and his power.
Yeah.
It was when he was young, and he was fast on his feet for a big person. He was fast, and he had that attitude where no one was going to beat him. And when he came out like a raging bull and took people out in the first round, that's just
all about
pure.
Up there.
Yeah. He knew he had it before he'd even got in the ring.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So the Felixstowes White Collar Boxing Club. Tell us about it. How did it start? When did it start?
Probably initially, probably 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when I was still training in Ipswich with a White Collar Boxing Club there, and living down here. I was having to travel two times a week, so that's fuel there, fuel back, plus the £8 to do the class. Then obviously we'd go up to Lowestoft to spar with people, so I'd have to pay to go up there, and then obviously to go to the fight and cultures. So I was paying out quite a lot of money, and my family then, we decided that we all wanted to get into fitness again and go down the leisure centre and join a gym. So I joined the gym, paid our membership, and I asked if I could do most of my training down there and use a punch bag. And they said yes at first, and then when I went there they wanted me to use a personal trainer to watch me, and I said I'm not going to pay for that, I'll do it somewhere else. So I then looked around Felixstowe to try and find somewhere that had a punch bag.
Yeah.
And there are no gyms in Felixstowe with a punch bag.
Oh really?
No gym except ours.
Oh.
Ours is the only place where there's a hanging punch bag. There's no other gyms around that do that. So there was a need for it, and I'd got to know a few people in Felixstowe, some of them quite young guys, and one of them said, I've got a page on Facebook where I've got a petition, and I looked on there, there's nearly 200 people, we need a boxing gym. So I tried to get courses done to try and get me to a point where I could teach and stuff.
Yeah.
And due to my family situation at the time and work, I couldn't afford to do it, so Suffolk Sport were kind enough to give me some funding towards some courses. And now I decided just over a month and a half ago, when I'd looked around for halls, which was another problem, trying to find somewhere to put it into. There was the expense and the money to be able to rent somewhere. And lucky enough, but unlucky enough, for the table tennis group at the Memorial Hall in Trimley, Monday night became available. And we now run out of there. So it started third week in August, I think it was. It might even be the start of August.
So it's pretty new.
It's very new. But within 2 months, we've gone from having 5 children up to Monday when there was 14 children in there.
14?
Yeah.
Wow.
And before we just had a child's class, and then I just did a mixed class from 7 till 9. But it got to a point where my wife wanted to come and give me a beating every so often, so I put the ladies class in. So now we have a ladies class from 7 till 8 o'clock on a Monday and Wednesday at the moment.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and then obviously after that a mixed group, but mostly it's men at the moment, and their ranges from, we've got a 12-year-old who's a big 12-year-old up to say me really 40. But my father-in-law, when I was training Ipswich, he came along and in his 60s and did it. So it doesn't limit it to. It doesn't limit. You just have to be careful in the exercise. Some exercises you can do, some you can't. You just, if something hurts, you stop. You find you a different exercise to do that part of your body.
So you say the Memorial, get that right? You can't do that. In Trimley.
Yeah.
So bear in mind you're going to have to put a hanging punch bag up somewhere.
Yeah.
So what do you actually do in a session? So
in a session, first of all, to set the hall up takes me normally about half an hour. I have to hang all the bags up from the bars up the top.
Yeah.
I've got a freestanding bag, so obviously I just wheel that in. But then the kids come in. We have a bit of a 5-10 minute warm up, jogging on the spot, punches, light punches, trying to get their heart rate up, trying to get their breathing up, get them a bit hot. Then we do a bit of stretching. Teach them initially that stretching to make sure you don't hurt your muscles during the class. And then from the very beginning we teach them the punches, and we go for every time we come in, we do all the punches together, and we do them in numbers. We do 10 of one and then 10 of the other. So we do all the punches together.
Yeah.
Then the kids, we do a couple of games where we do like a bulldog type of game with pads, and I throw the pads at them. They try and block them with their hands. If it hits their body, they're out. And that teaches them the coordination, the movement, and to defend in speed. So we make it kind of a play thing, but not necessarily all game.
So is that more aimed at the children coming in? And so
that's to get their confidence up and get them part as a group, and to work together. And then obviously I'll do what I'll be doing with you later on the pads.
Golf, by the way.
We'll do that with the kids as well. And then at the end of the day, at the end of their class, we then do 1 minute rounds which get filmed. And they put a pair of gloves on. I stand there with a gum shield and gloves and take a bit of a hiding thing, really. And the one thing I like about doing the kids' classes is you can see kids from their very first lesson learning something. And as the weeks progress, they become stronger, they become more confident in what they do.
Oh, brilliant.
And then, same thing with the ladies, we do exactly the same, but we do circuits, we do different exercises. I've got the battle rope, which is a big piece of rope, probably like that, and we do different exercises with that.
I've had a go at that.
Yeah, that kills.
Oh.
I think words on Monday was, that exercise was easy, I can't feel anything. For the past day and a half, people have been saying their arms are aching.
I know that feeling, yeah. So it's circuit training for the ladies, and for the men.
Exactly the same as the ladies with circuits, but I also do the sparring with the ladies as well. Yeah. So that most ladies have never had a proper fight and never wanted to hit anybody, but strangely, when you put a pair of gloves on them and you stand in front of them, they want to hit you.
I'm sure my wife would love this.
I'm sure she would. So we do that. But in the men's class, because a lot of them now are talking about wanting to get to the level of fighting, some are just coming for fitness, which that's what the group's about, not purely wanting to get in the ring and fight somebody. It's about getting fit as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're moving up from doing 1 minute 30 sessions on circuits up to 2 minutes, because that's what a round is, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night we do 2 minute rounds of sparring. Now everybody can defend themselves. We now put them in with each other. So they get used to sparring with different people. Instead of seeing me stand in front of them and saying hit me, they've now got to work out what each other does.
So they've got to think a bit.
Exactly, got to think on their feet.
Okay. So this is all new. It's you want to encourage people to come along if they want to get fit, if they want to learn about boxing. If they I presume you want to take people through to actually getting into a ring with someone else and having a fight.
The other guy that helps me out, Billy, he's been the same level, probably a higher level than me at the IBA, and he wants to get people to a level of wanting to fight as well. Yeah. We don't want to push people into it, but when people watch the videos on YouTube and they see some of the shows, some people want to challenge themselves. It is a chat about challenging yourself and getting to a point where you want to do that. So
how much is it for a session if someone wants to come along?
Children's are £3.
£3, yeah.
And that's for 45 minutes to an hour. Yep. Ladies is £4 and the men's are £4 as well.
£4. And what were the days again you mentioned?
Monday and Wednesday at the moment, but unfortunately due to the pantomime starting, we're going to have to come out of the Memorial Hall. So we are looking for a new place to go on hopefully a Thursday. I've looked at a few properties, but we really need to try and find a hall quite quickly, because I think we've got 2 more weeks where we can do 2 nights a week, and then we've got to find somewhere.
So if anyone's out there who actually knows of somewhere that can help Gary, please get in contact with the TV station, or what are your contact details?
Get me on my email, which is garbuttgary@yahoo.co.uk. We've got 2 Facebook groups. One's Felixstowes Boxing Club, and the other one's Felixstowes White Collar Boxing. Yep. Become a friend on there, like it, get friend request me, and be part of it.
Brilliant. So now we come to the bit I haven't really been looking forward to, but we're now going to try something slightly new for Felixstowes TV, where I get to punch someone. So we're just going to get set up, and Gary's just going to get me some pads. While we're what are these? I know it's probably a
these are 16-ounce gloves.
Yep.
These are gloves that you would fight with.
Yep.
And we try and train with these as well.
Yeah.
So you get used to wearing heavy gloves.
Yeah.
Rather than wearing bag mitts. Admittedly, when people first come to get used to punching, they do a lot of work on the bag, so we give them bag mitts. But when you're sparring and when you're fighting, we use these big clown gloves. They're 16-ounce gloves. Obviously, when we fight, we have head guards, we have gun shields, we have abdomen protector as well. Yeah. So let's look forward.
So what are you going to teach me first?
Right, I'm just going to teach you a jab and a straight right. So what we want you to do is left foot forward.
Yep.
Left foot just past 12 o'clock towards 1. No, this way. That's it.
Yep,
Right foot
Yep.
Going aim towards 2 o'clock. So
Okay, roughly.
yeah, come this way a little bit. That's it.
Okay.
So you've got a firm stance. Bend your knees
So
slightly.
bend your knees,
Right, left hand's up, right hand's up. Your right hand by your chin, because you always protect your chin. Okay?
Okay.
What I want you to do is come forward with this hand, at the end twist. So come, that's it, but twist, okay?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is aim at the dot. That's it, and again. And again. Right, so that's just a jab.
That's a jab, is it?
Now right comes off your back leg, so throw through, hit the dot, just come through. That's it, and again. Right, so 1, 2.
So jab.
So jab, 1, that's it, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's it, 1, 2. Right, this time what I want you to do is hit with your right. Just hit straight. Right, so you feel how hard that is?
Yeah.
Now what I want you to do is 1, 2, take a little half step back, come back like this, and then come through, and we'll see what the power's like, okay? So, jab, hit with the right, slowly, come back, walk back, now come through. That's it. Did you notice the difference?
Yeah,
that's because you've moved your body,
yeah,
and the power through that back leg come through your hands rather than stationary. So when you go to the fair and you see the ball and you see people run miles to come and hit it, they've lost all their power by the time they've got there because they've got to stop dead. Whereas if you just stood there, went 1, 1, took half a step back and come through, it's like a gun, propelling yourself forward.
Ah,
so do a couple more 1, 2s.
Really?
Yeah, really. That's it. That's it. Right, so then that's the 2 basic punches we teach you. From then on, everything comes from that. Every punch that or combination we start comes from your hook, comes from your jab, sorry, and then you either follow up a hook or a straight right.
Brilliant. Well, to be honest, I do want to get fit, so I might well come down and have a go as we live in Trimley as well. So
good to see you.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. It's been actually help me off with that. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay then. Okay then. So that's about all from Felixstowes TV on this Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow.